We're here today with Tipton County Executive Jeff Huffman. Jeff has graciously agreed to share his thoughts and philosophies concerning effective leadership. Good afternoon, Jeff.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Give us your insight into what events from your past led you to a life of public service.
Oh golly, that was so long ago it's hard to remember. I was elected to the Tipton County Commission in 1978. I think I was 24 years old. Just got out of the University of Tennessee. Had a degree in agriculture with a major in animal science. Wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. And in the late 1970s in Tipton County, there was really a ferocious battle regarding schools. We had schools that were in bad condition, so the thought was we would just build new schools, and where those schools would be built and how much money they were going to cost and what the tax rate would have to go up to finance a completely new school construction program was the tantamount issue of the day. And it went on for 6 or 7 years there until the mid-'80s when we finally got something done. But that sort of led me into running for county commissioner in my district. And I was lucky enough to get elected in 1978. Got reelected in 1982 on the county commission, served on the county finance committee in 1982, and then in '86 I ran for county executive and was fortunate enough to win. And I've kind of been here ever since then doing this. And so I suppose that the education issue after I got out of college really led me into serving on the county commission, running for that office, and that's kind of what triggered the whole thing.
And that was how many years ago?
1978. That was a long time ago, wasn't it? What, 33 years ago?
That was a while back. What personal assets, qualities, or characteristics do you deem as most beneficial to you in obtaining the level of success that you enjoyed?
Well, it's the traits and characteristics that you would think just about any job. Integrity, character, trust, particularly in today's political climate. It's important that people trust their leaders in local government. And it's also, there's a combination of knowledge and then character, trust, and integrity that goes along with that. You can have all the intentions in the world of doing a good job, but not know enough to do a good job. You can have all the knowledge in the world about the legal issues of the day, the constitutional issues in the state constitution, but if you don't really have that compassion to help raise the station in life for the folks you represent, then it doesn't work either. So I think that balance between knowing what the law is, knowing what your job is, and knowing what the different functions of county government are, because there are many, and how that relates to state government and federal government, and having a real desire to improve the quality of life of the people you represent. If you've got both of that, then you're in pretty good shape.
Okay. During your time in office as Tipton County Executive, what changes have you observed within the county business environment, its educational institutions, or other influences that have allowed Tipton County to grow and prosper?
Wow, this county's changed so much. You know, the population in this county in 1970 was 28,001. That's the official census number. In 2000, we were up to 51,271, and now the new 2010 census just came out. We're at 61,081 people. So the size of the county in terms of residential population has grown tremendously, and that's changed a lot. We've seen towns growing, and also the incorporated areas, the unincorporated areas outside the towns have grown tremendously as well. We've got about 30,000 people that live in an incorporated area, about 30,000 that live outside an incorporated area. And we've seen a real surge in retail business, particularly up and down the Highway 51 corridor. Toka and Munford have grown tremendously. Their business tax base has grown tremendously. And we have seen in Covington, from the time that I started this job in 1986, a real surge in industrial development since that time. World Color Press came in, Slim Fast came in. Right now we see Unilever in a big expansion out there that we look forward to having folks hired for that job before long. and a lot of the other local businesses have expanded their current operations. So both the retail sector and the industrial development sector, manufacturing, have expanded tremendously since the early 1980s, when we were primarily an agricultural community.
Can you describe one singular event that has occurred in Tipton County during your tenure that has had the greatest impact upon the citizens of the county?
I think when we built new schools, that was a tremendous impact, because at the time we had schools that were run down. The infrastructure just wasn't there, and so we had to build new schools, and that brought a tremendous amount of population growth to us. It really wasn't what we intended, but as a practical matter, that's what happened, and that's when we saw a real surge in the population increase in the county. And with the population increase, we saw a surge in retail business and industrial development, and all of that started with the investment that we made in our education, both in terms of expenditures, per pupil expenditures, and in construction costs to build completely new school systems. That, I think, was the tantamount issue.
As county executive, Jeff, what is your #1 priority for Tipton County in future years?
Right now, the #1 priority is the economy and jobs. You know, the state's been reeling from the recession the last 3 years. The country and the global economy's all been depressed. We've seen a lot of folks that are laid off, a lot of folks that are in despair trying to figure out how to make ends meet. And in times past, Tim, this county has been buffered from that kind of downturn by the housing industry. We've had ups and downs in terms of industrial development and retail sales, but we've never had the kind of recession like we've had this time, where we've had both a manufacturing job loss and a housing job loss because of the recession. So for the first time since I've been in local government, since 1978, we've really been hit hard because we didn't have that housing market and that big population growth to buffer us from downturns in the economy. So right now, the #1 concern is jobs in Tipton County, and continuing